I mentioned this yesterday, and bam, here we go. You could see the YouTube video I made yesterday, November 13th, and the number 113, 13, right? That's got a lot of connected to political energy to it. Okay, remember politics, energy to it. Politics equals 113. Remember, politics equals 113. BS 103, like 13 as well. Like 113, politics and BS both equal 103 and 13. 13 original colonies, right? Political number. And now it hits with Jesse Jackson. I just did this video yesterday showing the 113, the number for dishonesty, and all of that. Donald
the number
equals
for
31.
dishonesty, right?
So now we have Jesse Jackson hospitalized on 11/13. Isn't that amazing? Jesse Jackson hospitalized on 113, and I got to point it out. You see it right there. November 13th and number 113. You see the political thumbnail there. Also connected with the NBA. So I'm going to look a little bit at this. Oh, you know what I didn't show you? Look, Jesse Jackson equals 131. Jesse equals 13. We get a story about him being hospitalized on the 13th. Isn't that amazing? Look at right here how they say aging. They changed it. Ailing civil rights icon. That's what it says up at the top on the tab. Uh, hospitalized for rare neurological disorder. Chicago civil rights leader. I thought it said aging. I was like, man, they're just setting him up to fail, huh? So this is just going to be a little OTF here. I had to point out those 13s right away. And now we'll look at a couple other things as well. I see his birthday was October 8th. That also connects to politics. Remember, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. equals 108 as well. Former president of the United States. So you also get an 18 there. I'm entering his full name. His full name is Jesse. Look at his full name's got 108. Look at that right there. Jesse Lewis Jackson, 108. Isn't that amazing? And that's his birthday. Look at that right there. You see that? Easy money. He's got that 108 birthday right there. Full name equals 108. And I'll show you right here. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. Look, 108. Remember, Biden hit the Senate stage on the third day of the first month as well. Right there. It's going to make me scroll now. And look, Biden swears in the 113th Senate. Look at that right there. Woo! Look at that right there. You see it? Let me highlight it. Look at that. Bam, right? And January 3rd, and it was, look, January 23rd, 2013. You see that right there? When Biden's full name syncs up with Jesse Jackson on this political day, January 13th, presided over the swearing in of the 113th Congress, which included administering the oath of office to new senators. You see that right there? How about that? So Jesse Jackson with the 108 birthday right there. So let's see what's going on here. Let's play this. Maybe.
Hey, John, I want to turn to some news, and it looks like you broke just a little while ago. We're hearing that the Reverend Jesse Jackson has been hospitalized in Chicago. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I spoke to a source familiar with the situation there. The Reverend Jackson has gone to the hospital. His pulse is elevated, according to my source. He has some, what the source called a rattle in his chest, but does not have a fever. And apparently was undergoing some x-rays. So not a whole lot of information coming out quite yet. But again, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, civil rights leader for many decades, who was with Martin Luther King Jr. On the night when he was assassinated, in the hospital tonight in Chicago.
John Allen, really appreciate your reporting on all of this. Thank you so much.
Right? Okay, so let's see what kind of day we get here. The Reverend Jesse Jackson, right? Oh, look, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease about a decade ago. We just had somebody die recently as a result of Parkinson's disease as well. And it like turned into a heart failure or something like that. Wow, Parkinson's disease has 108. Look at that right there, man. Wow. Parkinson's disease 108. His birthday 108. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. 108 with the political connection. Notice how Parkinson's disease has 261. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. 126. Look at that right there. Wow, huh? That's, you cannot deny that. There is no denying that, okay? And he dies at 84. Man, we had a couple other deaths at 84, didn't we? Let's go to, man, it sucks because Canva, I can't see my uploads in order from most recent to oldest. Or else I could just pull it up and look. Oh, but you know what I can do? I can scroll down my channel. Share tab over here. Who just died at 84? Let's scroll. You can look at all the videos. Was it Paul Tagliabue? Yeah, Paul Tagliabue died at 84. And there was one other person as well. Here's Paul Tagliabue right here. Paul Tagliabue has died at age 84. Former commissioner of the NFL. So, and a former commissioner, so like a high ranking person associated with the NFL right there. You know, I guess you could say that could cross over to kind of like a politician, right? But Paul Tagliabue dies at 84. Now, Jesse Jackson hospitalized at age 84. And there's probably, and I think there was one other death at 84. It's hard to keep up with all of these. Was it not James Watson? He died at 97. Donna Jean Goudot died at 78. So maybe it was just that 84. I really think there was another death at 84. Oh, it was Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney died at 84.
Well, this morning we are
Political connection, former vice president.
following breaking news. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. He passed due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac.
Bull. Dick Cheney died. And look, right? There was 113 there. What, 13 original colonies? Yeah. 13 considered 130. So you get the 13. There it is. Dick Cheney dies 11-3, 113. Now we get 11-13. Political connected Reverend Jesse Jackson, civil rights activist. Look at that. I mentioned the 113 in that video. Look at that. 8 days ago. Well before hearing about this Jesse Jackson hospitalization. Look at the 103s and 113s I pointed out there. A lot of them, even George H.W. Bush died 11/30, like 113, on the day leaving 31 days. That's amazing. Jesse Jackson's born in 41. Look, the 41s landed in that Dick Cheney death decode as well. Look at that right there. Isn't that solid? Isn't that solid? And the Parkinson's disease with 108 like his birthday. Wow. So how many days after his birthday? Let's see, do they give us a day with the article? Let me read a little bit here. The civil rights leader was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease about a decade ago, but his Rainbow Push organization said Thursday, that's interesting, that the 84-year-old remained under observation at a Chicago hospital for progressive supranuclear palsy, or PSP, a neurodegenerative disorder he has been managing for more than a decade and received a diagnosis for in April. That's interesting because Martin Luther King Jr. was taken out in April, right? Eliminated in the month of April, and they said this guy was there, right? At the time. This guy, Jesse Jackson, the Reverend, reported in stable condition. The family is grateful for all the well wishes. Jackson suffered from symptoms consistent with Parkinson's disease and disclosed a diagnosis in 2017. But during a Mayo Clinic visit in April, there's April again, doctors confirmed a diagnosis of PSP, which can have similar symptoms to Parkinson's disease. Interesting. So let me put that disorder, this other disorder now, right here. 165, 132. Look, it's got 132, Jesse Jackson 131 and 32. How about that? So they're giving us Thursday. So Thursday was the 13th. Okay. So 11/13. How many days after his birthday? 11/13. Look at that. Shout out to you, Richard West. Shout out to you, Richard West. Look, 36 days before his birthday. And there was a bunch of 36s associated. Look at this right here. His birthday leaves 84 days. And he's diagnosed at age 84. Look at that right there. Look at that right there. Jesse Jackson, age 84. His freaking birthday leaves 84 days. Diagnosed on the day leaving 48 days, which is 84 reversed. He's even diagnosed on a 13 numerology on 11/13. Look at that right there. Wow. I There's a bunch of 36 associated with Martin Luther King Jr. And Richard West just pointed that out. Man, it was a video where I can't I can't remember because Richard touches a lot of topics in his videos. I don't think it was titled anything with Martin Luther King Jr. I do know one thing though. It was in Memphis where Martin Luther King Jr. was taken out. And remember, 3-6. Oh, I think it was the Emmett Till video that Richard did. The Emmett Till connected to MLK. I don't know if this is going to play.
The woman who made accusations that led to the killing of Emmett Till has died. Reports say Carolyn Bryan Donham died after a long battle with cancer. She was 88 years old. Back in 1955, Donham was mother-in-law
I don't know at what point I'm going on the fly like this, so it's hard. I try to include this, but I can't remember what point in the video. Richard pointed out the 36s. Here, let me pull up Martin Luther King Jr. Here's Martin Luther King Jr., and they said Jesse Jackson was there at the time of this assassination. He was assassinated, look, you like my spelling? In Memphis. In Memphis, okay? And remember, 3-6 Mafia is out of Memphis. And now Jesse Jackson, hospitalized 36 days after his birthday. And you see 3-6 Mafia right there out of Memphis. Was it in front of it wasn't was it in front of hotel number 36? Was that what it was? What hotel room did Martin Luther King Jr. get shot in front of? God, man, Google room 306 like 36. You see that right there? Martin Luther King Jr. was in room 306 at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee when he was assassinated. Look at that, 306 like 36. Okay, and now Jesse Jackson hospitalized 36 days after his own birthday. I'll play the video again too. Remember, this is OTF on the fly, except for the beginning part with the 13s that I caught, which triggered me to do the video.
Hey, John, I want to turn to some news that it looks like you broke just a little while ago. We're hearing that the Reverend Jesse Jackson has been hospitalized in Chicago. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I spoke to a source familiar with the situation there. The Reverend Jackson has gone to the hospital. His pulse is elevated, according to my source. He has some, what the source called a rattle in his chest, but does not have a fever. And apparently was undergoing some x-rays. So not a whole lot of information coming out quite yet. But again, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, civil rights leader for many decades, who was with Martin Luther King Jr. On the night when he was assassinated, in the hospital tonight in Chicago.
John?
Yep. You see that? So once again, we get a script here. And again, shout out to Richard West, because Richard West pointed out some of these 36s in his video here.
Till's mother even
Emmett
left
Till
his
and his
casket open
accuser
during his
connected to
funeral
MLK.
viewing, so people could see the brutality of the killing. The two men who admitted to killing the teen were acquitted by an all-white jury.
306.
Oh yeah,
Just
look
like
at that right there. Look at that right there. Man, I don't know if this is going to I'll have to edit this out if it doesn't play, but you can at least see it right there.
and I'm gonna connect this to Martin Luther King. And off top,
Look at that.
look how that is.
Look at that video. Emmett Till and his accuser here. Richard West connect to MLK. Look, 2 days ago, and MLK Jr. assassinated. They're saying right. I don't know if that was his actual room or he just got assassinated right outside of that room at the Lorraine Motel, room 306, like 36. Shout out to you, Richard. Richard made this video. I think it's been 2 or 3 days now. Um, Before this Jesse Jackson incident, Jesse Jackson with MLK Jr. when he gets assassinated.
It's 306, just like MLK equal to 36.
MLK equals 36. I need to remember that. MLK equals 36. Shout out to you. Bam, Richard. Look at that right there. MLK 36. Jesse Jackson hospitalized 36 days after his birthday. You even get the 63 numerology right there with his last birthday. And uh, room 306. That's amazing. Let's see if Richard points out any other 36s.
M the 13th letter, L the 12th letter. That's 25. Then K is 11, make
M for Martin Luther King. And his name was Michael. M is the 13th letter. Jesse Jackson on the 11/13. We get this news.
36. Without that zero, that's 36. Just like Martin Luther King was killed in front of room
There,
306
Richard pointed out that 306 there.
at the hotel. Come on, man. Got shot with a 3006.
Yeah, he got shot with a 30-06, didn't he? A Remington? Yeah. Or look, it says 760. Oh, right here. The rifle was chambered in the powerful 30. I don't know how they say that. 30-06 Springfield caliber in front of room 306. What a script. What a script, man. What a script. Okay, so I mean, is that all? I mean, I think we've proven this script here, right? We're showing it after disclosing he was deceived. He was receiving outpatient treatment in 2017. Jackson continued to make public appearances, including at the 2024 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. The two-time presidential candidate stepped down as leader of his organization Rainbow Dash slash Push in 2023. His son Yusef Jackson took over as chief operating officer last year. Wow, right? There's probably a lot of good connections uh, left on the table here. Here's his son. His son's got no actual birthday. It's just 1970. Okay, right? Okay, right? So I felt like there was something else I wanted to look at, but I think we might be good here for this OTF on the fly. Chicago has 44. Does it? Does Chicago have 44? Maybe I'm tripping. No. Was there any other 44s in here? I don't think so. Okay, so a little OTF on the fly there. Pointed it out yesterday with this November 13th date, and it hits with politics, right? You see right there, Jesse Jackson. Okay. So, Reverend Jesse Jackson, civil rights activist, former shadow U.S. Senator, the Reverend, ordained Baptist minister, hospitalized for a rare neurological disorder, diagnosed with Parkinson's disease about a decade ago. And what was the name of this neurodegenerative disorder? Progressive supranuclear palsy, right? Say that 20 times in a row. Say it 2 times in a row. Okay, so OTF on the fly, Jesse Jackson hospitalized, huge script. Whether it's really happening or not, what's up with the script and what's up with these patterns. Until next time, OTF.